Everybody for coming up in the actual Twitter space slash podcast. We're going to be talking about the reparation situation going on in the state of Florida. We got a Florida senator trying to actually stop any type of reparations laws coming into effect in the state of Florida. He's trying to go ahead and cut it off right now. His name is Ingoglia. Blaze Ingoglia. Um, I'm not exactly sure. How long Blaze has been here in the state of Florida, but he's already doing everything he can in his power to go ahead and undermine the reparations that's been going on all throughout the country. Everybody pushing and striving for that. So he's already going ahead. And we know Florida's already a melting pot for a lot of white supremacy action that goes on down here. And he's just trying to go ahead and get to the front of the line and to fortify his political career as well too. Let me give a shout out to everybody that's up in Twitter space. Let me give a shout out to the people that's over there in YouTube. For my people in YouTube, make sure you guys click the notification bell because YouTube is not sending out notifications whatsoever. So click that notification bell. Definitely, if you have not already subscribed to the Newstoter YouTube channel, definitely subscribe to Newstoter YouTube channel. Leave a comment tonight, like the actual broadcast, share it out as well too. Like I say, shout out to all you guys that's coming over here in Twitter too. For the people on Twitter, make sure you guys go ahead and tweet out the actual space slash podcast, guys. Glad to have you guys up in here. I don't imagine that this is going to be a long space whatsoever, but I did want to touch up on this actual situation that's going on in Florida. Blaze Ingoglia. I mean, the name itself is I believe the man has a Italian last name, so I'm sure he's probably a second, third generation child of an immigrant, and he's putting his foot into it right now. He's signing off, saying exactly how he feels about it. Let me go ahead and touch up on this article real quick. This is from the Neo Jim Crow curator on the Newstoter.com platform. The actual article is up in the Jumbotron, and the actual article for my people over there on YouTube is up in the actual description in case you want to go ahead and read it. Go to the actual site, but it's a pretty short article. I'm gonna touch up on it. It says Florida State Senator introduces bill to prohibit reparation payments. As several states across the country have engaged in preliminary discussions around paying reparations to African Americans, a Florida state senator is attempting to ensure that his state will not be one of them. According to the Florida political website, Republican State Senator Blaze Ingoglia has introduced a bill on the floor of Florida State Senate to prohibit the state from making any reparation payments. The legislation proposes to amend Florida's constitution to ban any form of such reparation payments. The state, a county, municipality, or any other political subdivision may not pay compensation in the form of reparations to an individual who is a descendant of an enslaved individual who lived in the United States before December 6, 1865, reads a proposed amendment. Ingoglia, who was once the chair of the Florida Republican Party, essentially tried to end the Democratic Party with the Ultimate Cancel Act by requiring division elections to immediately cancel the filings of a political party if certain conditions exist. Talks around reparations have gained significant momentum in municipalities and states. In June 2023, the California Reparations Task Force sent its final report to Governor Gavin Newsom and the state legislature recommending a mix of cash payments and other benefits, including housing, education, and healthcare to qualified Black Californians to compensate for generations of racial discrimination. If approved, California would have created a roadmap for other states and federal government to follow. In addition to outlawing reparations, Florida lawmakers have also introduced a bill called the Historical Monuments and Memorials Protection Act. So this is the heart of it right here. This lets you know that even though Florida's at the bottom of the lower 48, it's still part of old Dixie Crack Peckerwoods, which will require public display of a specified statue, including those honoring Confederates and specifying one Confederate general who avoided arrest for treason by escaping to Mexico and Cuba. If the reparations bill is passed, the amendment will require 60% approval by the residents of Florida in the upcoming election. So not only shout out to my man Nightfall, Be Nice, Trenton, all you cats over there in YouTube world, y'all definitely go ahead and definitely shout out tonight's program and also give it a like. Not only is this cat here, Blaze Ingagalia, whatever the hell his name is. I'm gonna just say Blaze, whatever Blaze's name is. Not only is this piece of crap right here sitting up here trying to go ahead and get a jump on everything because he sees the momentum coming out. It's gonna definitely be hard in these Dixiecrat states in the South, Florida, Mississippi, Georgia, and the rest of them because they're so dead set against black people. It's definitely gonna be harder to go ahead and get the actual reparation thing rolling, but he's trying to jump out in front. He sees the momentum is gaining. He hears a talk. His party hears a talk. So in order to go ahead and grandstand and to show himself to be a big man amongst all these peckerwoods we got here in the great state of Florida, how he can stand out and he can further his career, he can make a name for himself, he decides, hey, I'm going to jump on this reparation thing and we're going to put an amendment and we're going to let him know that if you're a descendant of any slave before December 6, 1865, you get nothing. So he's already coming out here trying to rev up the old boys. This is how they used to do in the gin mill, go down there to Slave Road and go ahead and get them old darky woman once they get gin up and whatnot. He's already starting this BS right here, sitting up here talking about how he's going to sit up and he's going to make a damn amendment. And it's sitting up here saying, well, hey, if you're the descendants of slavery, you get nothing. At the same time, him and the rest of these Republicans in Florida, sitting up here talking about they're gonna create a bill to protect monuments and memorials because we got so many damn monuments, memorials, and buildings named after Confederate generals and soldiers and everything else in the state of Florida that they want to go ahead and keep it that way. So while you can grandize about the old days, you can sit up here and you can brag about the Confederate monuments and the Confederate soldiers and all these Confederates and this and that or whatever, and you have and this dude. What is his name? Ingagalia or whatever. Family probably wouldn't even bid more in the United States. I bet you anything. I've been looking for information on this dude because I'm trying to find some stuff about his family. Probably a damn second generation, Italian sitting over here talking about what black people should get. But at the same time, you're going to sit up here in the Robert E. Lee statues and Stonewall Jackson and the rest of this and some of these stadiums here in Florida and stuff that's named after segregationists and everything else. You want to sit up here and try to create a bill to protect this, at the same time creating an amendment to go ahead and try to destroy any kind of reparation talk. Like I said before, and other spaces, that the actual reparation movement, a lot of this is going to have to actually happen on these HBCU campuses as well too. When you look back to the 60s and you start looking at young Black America, our parents, the baby boomers and stuff, for those that's in generation X, our parents, the baby boomers, a lot of them, were either they were in Vietnam or they were, on campuses and stuff like that. They were leading a lot of things. So you're going to have to actually have this as well too. I'm kind of glad in the way that he's going ahead because Florida, we kind of, we've been talking about reparations and everything else right here, but this could really be something to really spearhead the actual event as well too. He's sitting up here, he's trying to set up amendments so people that are descendants of slaves in this country, he even put a date. If you were a slave from December 6th, 1865, basically saying you don't get anything. But at the same time, people forget there is a case for reparations to be paid in state of Florida, and that came from the actual the horrible situation that happened at Rosewood, Florida. And I know a lot of y'all seen the movie that John Singleton directed. I think that came out in the late 90s, maybe 96, 97. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely go ahead and get it. But I actually know somebody that has a family member that, to this day, I think they set up scholarships, and of course, they rewarded some money for the actual massacre that took place. But there's still some people to this day that still, through scholarships and stuff of that nature, still benefit, from the actual Rosewood massacre that took place not too far from Gainesville, Florida, I believe. I believe it was maybe 40, 50 miles outside of actual Gainesville. So we got Senator Blaze Ingagalia sitting up here, and he's already and for everybody that came up in the space and missed it, shout out Tata, because I know you in Florida as well too. For anybody that may have missed it, and I tweeted this out the other day, it's up in the Jumbotron as well too. He's taking the bull by the horns, and I expect to see a bunch of these other Dixiecrats and rednecks in the South to do the same thing as well too, because they're the last stronghold here as well too. So they're gonna stand up. I expect to see the Mississippis, the Louisianas, and even though you have reparation talk going on in these actual states, I expect a lot of the actual red-blooded conservatives to actually come up and say something, and to go ahead, because especially when it's election time, this is going to be a triggering topic right here, and you're going to have a bunch of them that's going to sit up here and they're going to say all kind of different things as well too. So Nightfall, let me see what Nightfall said. He says, and there it is. They just want to bring back all those racist statues. Yeah, now they sitting up here, these rednecks sitting up here, and they want to go ahead and make sure they leave you out of any kind of retribution, any kind of reparatory justice. But then they want to sit up here and they want to protect statues of men that's been dead over 150 years ago, men that were the biggest insurrectionists in the history of the damn country, the biggest traitors, the biggest Judas, the biggest Benedict Arnolds, and they want to sit up here and protect their statues and their legacies and their names and their roads and the libraries and all the buildings and roads and everything else here in Florida that is named after. You're going to go ahead and try to protect this and go ahead and let these people, Confederates, one of the Confederates, they said, the Confederate general, instead of being arrested for treason, decided to go ahead and bounce between Mexico and Cuba. So I mean, while you had other people like what's his name, Robert E. Lee, that got to retire with some sort of dignity, and a lot of them was teaching on college campuses and everything else. Only in America can you have a bunch of insurrectionists who actually get jobs, who actually able to retire with a pinch of dignity. But then they want to sit up here, and the same people that was sitting up here to keep people enslaved, in slavery, keep them like cattle and chattel and everything else. But they want to sit up here and actually make a bill where they can protect actual monuments of people that's been dead for almost damn near 200 years, been dead, been up out of the pocket. And they want to go ahead and they want to keep these people, keep their legacy going and stuff like that. Not only that, but hell, they should start changing some of the images on the damn dollar bill and everything else. But they're not going to do that with the dead presidents. They're not going to do that because that would just be considered an insult to history as well too. So this is where we're at in the state of Florida, guys. And I know Georgia has some talks about reparations. Original, I know you down there, and I know things have been kind of getting heated. They start putting up these and not only that, but you got to start looking nationwide when they start setting up these reparation committees, and you're sending a bunch of non-Black American people sitting on these reparation committees. They don't even say, you know what, we're gonna have at least half of the people on the committees to be Black Americans. One place people got upset because I think you had an Asian woman on there. So people started raising hell about that. Like, okay, how are we going to have an Asian woman up here talking about reparations for Black people? So in a lot of these situations and stuff like that, and if they do have Black people, a lot of them are not Black Americans. So if you're going to actually have a reparation committee, you have some Black Americans sitting up on the actual committee as well too. And I know people are going to say, well, it's not fair to have all Black Americans on there because, they're going to all agree with the actual reparation claim. We understand that you're not going to have 100% of Black representation, especially Black American, but you got to have some kind of representation of Black Americans on these actual committees that you're putting out here. So that's what's up. I know Black majority state. I know you're probably, I know you're actually probably driving and stuff like that. Original, what's going on with you? Tata, I know if you get a chance and you definitely want to come up here and say something. I know you're in Central Florida, so I'm sure you probably, if you hadn't heard about this initially, I'm sure you're starting to hear a little bit about the situation that's going on here. It's becoming more widespread, and bunch of articles that's out there. I think I tweeted a couple out yesterday. It was a couple more today on the actual site, and I'm pretty much figuring like, hey, pretty much most everybody's already seen it. If not, it's up in the Jumbotron. At the same time, I think people, when you start seeing these type of titles and articles pop up with Florida in it, nobody at this point in time is really, really surprised by anything that the state of Florida would do or back. I mean, it's just been so much stuff for the past couple of years that there's really nothing that you can see that can really surprise you, no matter how racist it is from Florida. You like, okay, well, that's pretty much how they roll down there. Nobody's surprised or shocked to say, wow, I can't believe Florida did this, because there's nothing at this point in time that Florida won't do if they feel like it's going to have a negative impact on Black people. So you got between the between the damn DeSantis dumbass sitting up here trying to change all the voting districts and stuff around to go ahead and give the Republicans a bigger majority. And I'm no Democrat, I'm no Republican either, but we see exactly what he's doing. But behind this redneck legislation that they got in place that's controlled by the Republicans, you know, you're not getting much up. You don't hear any black Democrats in the state saying anything about reparations too loud or clear either. So, I know some people say that, yeah, you got some Florida Democrats that be holding spaces and stuff like that. Next time they hold a space, ask them what their opinion is about reparations. Because I know somebody was asking me about Nikki Barnes, and I said, well, I don't really know her like that, but I know she holds spaces, and I know she rides with Luke and whatnot. But get her opinion, her feeling on reparations and stuff at this point in time. Because I would really like to hear some of the black Democrats in the state of Florida. What are they planning on saying about this right here? Because I know the white Democrats aren't going to say much about it. You're not going to hear too many white Democrats come up here and challenge what this dude just said. So I want to hear what some of our black politicians in the state of Florida's got to say. And like I said, we have a number of them that be in these spaces online as well too. I know Luke is one thing he always says, and of course Luke is not a politician, even though he did, to my knowledge, he did run for the actual mayor of Miami, and I believe he came in 4th place. But Luke, like so many other black people that do vote Democrat, said, well, Republicans ain't gonna give us reparations. Okay, fair enough. What will the Democrats do to counter this? What are any Democrats in the state of Florida gonna do to counter this? Because if anybody says if people talk about anti this, anti that, and I'm glad that this guy, he's attacking the lineage. That's what he's really doing. He's trying to be smart about the way he's trying to frame this amendment too. You see, he didn't say black. He didn't put black in it. He was smart about his way of attacking the lineage. This is exactly what he says. A state, a county, municipality, or any other political subdivision may not pay compensation in the form of reparations to an individual who's a descendant of an enslaved individual who lived in the United States before December 6, 1865, reads the proposed amendment. So he didn't say black. He didn't say black people. He didn't say anything like that to make it color-based. He was very smart in the way he went ahead and he attacked this. Even though this is an anti-black bill that he's trying to get together, he's smart enough not to make it. He's like, well, I'm talking about anybody that was a slave back then. And we know exactly who the people are he's talking about. So it was very smart on his part. That's why, whether and whatever people want to call themselves, I have no issue with it or whatever. But whatever it is, when you do get ready to go up here and make this claim for it, it is going to have to be lineage based, because you can see exactly how they're trying to attack it. It's going to have to be lineage based. It's got to be lineage based. He's making sure that he attacks the lineage right now. He's letting you know that any of you that come and have slave blood in you from chattel slavery, you should not get one iota, nothing. And he's doing this on the state level, and he's hoping that it's going to reach all across, because these people in the South here, when one of them gets something in their head, you have the neighboring state getting something in their head as well too, doing the exact same thing. You got Florida, of course, Florida and Georgia like peanut butter and jelly. So you already know how that's going to go down. You have Florida, you have Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, the two most racist states in the country, and truly the head of the racism here in the entire South. But they're not alone, because Louisiana is just nipping right at the heels. You have the Carolinas, you have Tennessee, you have all these redneck states that for the longest time has spit on black people. They'll all find common ground here, how they can go up and how they can join up and how they can plot and scheme against black people as well too. So this dude here, he's a New Yorker, like so many of the politicians, and like so many, I believe he stays around there in the Tampa area. I believe he's in the southwest area of the state as well too. But he's a New Yorker, like so many in South Florida that come down there and they want to go ahead and avoid paying state tax and everything else. So they decide to move to Florida. He comes to South Florida. He's a state senator now. He's also, I'm pretty sure, I don't know how long his family's been over here, but with that name, Ingagali or whatever the hell it is, I'm sure he ain't been off the boat. His family ain't been off the boat all that long. So he's another one that comes over here, that has this anti-black view, and he's going to sit up here and tell you what you should get or what you shouldn't get while at the same time living off the fat of what black people done provided. I see my girl Trouble coming up here. Let me get Trouble up here as well too. Let me give a shout out real quick to Andre. Andre, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Anybody else that wants to come up here and speak to, like I say, it's a bunch of y'all that's in the South. It's a bunch of y'all. Some of y'all in states already where they already trying to do the set up reparations committees and everything else like that. Like I say, I know there's a big situation you had in Atlanta. Nightfall, you say sounds Turkish. They claim with the name, like I saw, like they claim like the name is Italian, like the Gugliali part or whatever, the Gugliot or whatever the hell his name is. Like I said, with a name like that, he can't be that far removed from coming down through Ellis Island. So, and they're the main ones that sit up here and start talking about what somebody should or shouldn't get when his whole family probably wasn't even in the damn country at the time, 1865. But he's sitting up here talking about what you should or shouldn't get right here. Trouble, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter, I'm doing fine, brother. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
That's what's up. Shout out to all the family in the room, and I'll go ahead and kick it off. This isn't surprising in the least. I'm surprised that more people in the States, especially here in the South, haven't tried to do the same thing that he can. You always, as always, you made excellent points coming in about how these people who weren't even here during that time frame, have this wild stick up their butt about what the descendants should and should not get. And it's, it's disturbing, but it's not surprising. At the same time, we also have to keep in mind that you had mentioned the Confederates. And we have to keep in mind that during that time frame when the Civil War had kicked off, just because we had people that was fighting for the slaves to be free during that didn't necessarily mean that they agreed with it. They fought on the side that they had to because that's where they were at, But all of those people that fought for the freedoms did not necessarily agree with the slaves being free. They didn't agree with it, and that's why so many of them have so much sympathy for the Confederates and still want to, uphold these traitors, in the manner in which they do. And it's rearing its ugly head. In today's world, we get to see it in real time. So I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. And I think it boils down to, at the end of the day, what it is that we are willing to fight for, what it is that we are willing to do, and how far out of our comfort zones are we willing to, to go in order to secure things for our children and grandchildren and great-grand's future. At this point in time, the writing is on the wall, and it's been on the wall for a long time. But us being the loving, nurturing people that we are, we try to go all around about ways. We try to go through the letter of the laws, and it's not working for us. And it's not going to work for us, as we see now, the implementation of all of these other groups of people coming into the nation, and they have readily available funds for all of these people. Me as I'm not middle class. I mean, I get what I get and how I get it to make sure my family has what they have. But the government would look at me and consider me poor. As a poor person, there's no readily organizations for me to go to that's been handed billions and millions of dollars because I need food or because I need my rent paid. I got to jump through all kind of hoops and loops, and I got to give you all kind of information, and I got to give you my bank account number and all kind of foolish things in order to get that help. But people coming across the waters illegally, mind you, can get whatever it is that they need handed to them. And so it's like, at what point in time do all of us collectively get outraged about it, even if you don't need the help from the government to help you do anything, because so many of your other people do. And I don't know when we're going to get to that point. I don't know what it's going to take for us to, finally, just buddy up and take it to the state house, take it directly to their front doors and let them know, because it's really just getting bothersome at this point, just watching the takeover in real time, watching them hand over this nation to people who are just flooded. I mean, they're literally Like I was watching there was a video earlier that was being played online that was showing how many people was seven new buses pulled into Atlanta, and they ran right out there and secured millions of dollars for these immigrants coming into the ATL, and they designated this area to start building tents and different things for them, and I think maybe that might be Chicago. I might be confusing it, but they're doing it in Atlanta as well. And they got you got the mayor and the city council, a black city councilwoman that's jumping up in Atlanta like, oh well, we got enough, to share with people from all over who can, who need that help, and we got enough love and enough room. But what about the people who are already there? What about the citizens who are already there? This is affecting us here in Black America, but it's also affecting white America. So I don't really know if we need to join forces with the devil we already know, or if this is something that we can handle on our own that we need to tackle, but it must be tackled. But I don't know. Some people just sitting back waiting until it's literally at your front door. There was another space when somebody just swore up and down, oh, this is only happening up in the north. No, baby, I'm here in South Cac. I'm here in South Cac, and it's been happening for a long time. This didn't just start happening yesterday. I've been telling people for the last 20 years about the takeover that was coming, and nobody wanted to pay attention. Nobody just, oh, well, they just seasonal. No, they ain't just goddamn seasonal. They're here 24/7. If they were seasonal, they'd be here for a season and get the hell on through, but they stayed. You got landlords that's housing them, putting them to work, and taking away work from other people who used to have it. I've been seeing that a long time ago. And it's only getting worse, and it's only getting worse. And they got two brothers sitting in jail right now. And they got all kind of hate crimes against them. Why? Because they robbed some Hispanic people, and they threw some hate crimes on them, because they said they specifically targeted the Hispanic community. So I'm looking at Sheriff Leon Locke talking about, oh well, they targeted our Hispanic community specifically, like, oh, we got a Hispanic community in the South now. That's what we doing. We just, but all of the crimes that happen to Black people here. There's you don't get on TV or you don't get in the news and talk about, oh, well, this was a hate crime against our Black community. You don't hear that. But all of a sudden, a couple of Hispanics get robbed for their chinchadas, and, it's our Hispanic community is being taken advantage of, and it's some Negroes that did it, and we can't have this. Now you can't have it. So you better start thinking on a different level. I see Mr. Twizzler got his hands up, and I'll lend the mic.
All right. Thank you, Trouble. I appreciate that, sister. Definitely. And you here in the South, I'm saying it too, of course. I'm in Florida, so we already know that Florida is one of the biggest states in terms of having a lot of immigrants coming as well too. South Florida pretty much already taken over. Same with Central Florida, and the last hold is North Florida, and that's slowly but surely the tide is starting to change there as well too. So pretty much I'm feeling what you're saying on that part there, Trouble, as well too. So I got Twizzle up here. Twizzle, I'm gonna go ahead. Twizzle definitely try not to curse. I know it comes out sometimes, but definitely try not to curse. But how you doing tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, how everybody doing tonight? What's up, Gucci Charter? How you doing?
What's up? I'm chilling.
Man, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? I just wanted to come in and piggyback off what Trouble was saying, because the Queen was 100% accurate in everything she was saying. What you're saying as well is also accurate, for the simple fact these politicians, this government, they're really trying to erase us. And once they make us, or once we disappear, then they can basically do whatever they want. Remember old saying Dr. John Henry Clark said, either we free ourselves or we go back into slavery. Well, people fail to realize that the shit is going on. It's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? It's going on to a certain degree that people aren't getting their stuff together and handling their business, and they too busy relying on the government. They're relying on handouts, and once the handouts dry up, what else do you have? I seen a little chit-chat, a TikTok video where a gentleman was talking about he has an immigrant partner he's been working with for the past 2 years. And the immigrant partner was trying to lightweight boast, talking about he's only been here 1 year, and the American government helped him get a place, helped him secure funds, helped him buy a car, helped him get a job, and now they're finna help him buy a house. All within 1 year, and he came here broke with nothing. You know what I mean? That's how these immigrants are over here winning, because you have Alejandro Mayorkas talking about, oh, it's time to give them all amnesty now. They finna legitimize the 7 million immigrants that came over here. You know what I mean? They doing all this just so they can spite us and have a monopoly, like you said, on with this employment that they have, because they can easily kill immigration. All thing they got to do is, if you can't speak English, you can't work. And any employees who have these people, you're getting fined. But they won't do that, dude. They won't do that, dude. We're in a situation right now to where we really have to make this. We have to be serious about this. Out here in California, did you see when Xiaoping came out here just recently? You see how Gavin Newsom just basically handed him the keys to California? The Asian community basically run the West Coast now. They run Seattle, and they're taking over California. You're starting to see ever since then, those Chinese flags been staying up. People talking about, I know we are speaking a lot about the Hispanics, but these Asians are gaining power. They're finna take over America. And like somebody had a space earlier talking about, it's a silent takeover. They're just handing America over to them. That's really happening because America is committing treason right now. If we look at it, America is committing treason because they're helping immigrants, they're helping foreigners more than they're helping their own citizens. They're destroying this country just to empower citizens for what? Just for freaking votes. This is treason. And when we take this march to Washington, when we're standing up there speaking something that we need to say, this is treason that you're committing against your citizens, and you can't pronounce this, you can't justify this, there's no legal ramifications for this. Here, you got your homeless citizens, you got your citizens, people who fought for this country, that go back almost 4 or 5 generations, who fought almost 4 or 5 wars, out here struggling and starving, trying their best to fight and get away. But each time they do, they get the rug snatched up under their feet, and you're giving it to people who still are proud, Hispanic proud, Mexican, Guatemalans, you El Salvadorians proud, Yugoslavians proud, Hondurans proud, proud Ukrainians. You're giving it to them instead of the people that fought for this country. So to me, that's treason. You know what I'm saying? And that's an argument that I want to bring up. I land my plane there, man, and hey, y'all, let's keep fighting, man. We can't turn the other cheek, and we got to go at all gas, no brakes on this. Peace, people.
Appreciate that, Twizzle. Thank you. For those that's coming up in the space, guys, definitely go ahead and retweet the space out. We're talking about the situation that's going on in Florida, as if that's any surprise to the state of Florida. We got a senator down here that's trying to go ahead and get an amendment where they can stop any future payments of reparations to descendants of chattel slavery. So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to go ahead and cut everything off. I expect, like I said before, you'll have these other southern states as well, too, in cahoots. And that's not to say the northern states, too, as well, because we have this blanket statement that racism, the most racism is in the South or whatever. The entire country was built off of racism and white supremacy. So it's just not a southern thing. It's all throughout the state, even though, it's, I guess you could say it's more blatant perhaps down here. But like I say, I expect the other states to follow suit as well, to and of course Mississippi and Alabama, in the back of their mind, they're like, well, you better not even come in here talking about asking us for no reparations. Like, so they're not even gonna pretend. You can see what's happening over there in Jackson State, a city that's predominantly black, and they're trying to have it where the minority actually rules it and actually has everything going on and running everything, a little small police force that white folks run, and they pretty much keep all the black folks over there in check. So that's not anything really new what we're talking about. But here in Florida, this dude Blaze and Ingaglia, whatever the hell his name is, sitting up here trying to start something where he can go ahead and further his career off of the backs of black people. I believe his surname is Italian. I bet anything, I'm not, and I can't validate it, but I bet anything, at most he's a second or third generation immigrant sitting up here. His family probably was not even in the country when you had slavery ended in this country. But he's sitting up here, and he's going to be the first one to go ahead and introduce a bill that can go ahead and stop reparations to the actual to the actual people in Florida that's actual descendants of chattel slavery, which would be me, Tata, and some other people that's probably up in this space as well too. So like I said, it's a thing where they're all joining in. They're all joining in. It's just getting started, and because they see it as a potential threat. If it wasn't no threat, if it was just a bunch of hot air people just talking, they just wanted to hear themselves talk, people like, oh, okay, yeah, we hear the Negroes talking about reparations. Yeah, okay, what? But the fact of the matter that it's starting to catch the attention of all these people, it's got people really thinking right now. It's going to be huge in the election. A lot of Democrats, and Biden in particular, they don't want to talk about it because they feel it's a losing matter. It's going to piss off the actual, it's going to piss off the moderate Democrats. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to piss off, quote unquote, the blue collar white folks in the Midwest by talking about giving reparations. Then you got other people saying, well, it's going to piss off other minority groups as well, too. Those minority groups weren't in the country. So why should they have to foot the bill? Why are they, the further we get away from reparations, it's not fair. I've seen all kind of statements. I've heard all kind of things. People talk about it's just not fair for people who weren't even in this country and people who also face racism and systematic racism and hurdles and injustices for them to have to also pay as well too. So now you're gonna have you got the moderate whites and then you got the minorities that's sitting up in here. They're starting to chime in or whatever and say different things as well too. So let me go ahead. I say original. Let me give a shout out real quick to Black Pressure. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. I'm gonna get to original and then I'm gonna get to Tata as well. How you doing tonight, original? Let me see if
doing great. I have to turn my phone back on. Doing great. This is interesting. Yeah, it's saying this is it's an Italian surname. I just pulled it up.
Yeah, it's Italian.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see like what Trouble or Twizzle mentioned, like these dumb, stupid black folks in Atlanta. I keep telling black folks. Black people in political position in Atlanta don't run anything. And this dumb piece of crap, her name is Keisha Waite. See, she's in an at-large position whereby the entire city could vote for her to get on the city council. So she sent me a text, and I asked her, I said, how do I know you're going to represent black folks? She goes, well, I've always represented black. I said, no, you haven't. I said, I tell you what, and you show yourself approved that you care for black folks, then I'll vote for you. And so you already know she will never get a vote from me because of what they're doing. See, it was said that the mayor of Atlanta applied for this, I forget how many $1 million grant from the government to bring these illegal aliens here. Now, see, as everybody keeps saying, they seem to have all kind of funding for these illegal aliens. But they don't have anything for us. And this is exactly why, because this guy in Florida is a Republican. This is exactly why I am not voting for the Republicans or the Democrats. I know some people say they're going to vote for Donald Trump just to spite Jim Crow Joe. Well, I know both of them. And ain't now one of them any good. I am not going to sit up here and I don't know that Donald Trump would kick out all these illegal aliens. Both of them lie, so I don't know that to be true. And so I'm not going to sit up here and give up my vote, and then I'm pissed off because they doing the opposite of what they said they was going to do. But I can't tell anyone else how to vote, and no one can tell me how to vote. I'm not voting for anyone. That's just what's going to happen, because these people, they know what they're doing. But what has me so pissed off is that these black elected officials, and then this old black witch, I can't say black witch, right? Or can I say the other word? This old black witch, she come talking about America was built off the backs of immigrants. No, America was built off black folks' back. See, this is how these people, they conduct themselves. They take our vote. And they use our vote to represent all demographics except for us. And they do it in our face. And since nobody is saying anything, because I would say the majority of black people are brainwashed anyway. They're not going to do anything, and they understand this. And so the only thing I can do is just, if they send me a text, I just cuss them out and tell them, you know, if you continue to send the message, the cursing gonna get worse. And I call them some of everything, a black bee and everything. I don't care what I call them, but I really don't care. They can't say anything because they sent me an unsolicited message. And then you send that to me, I got the right to say whatever the hell I want to say. But that's what getting me. It's these black folks that gets me across this country. Just like now, you know, you have Cornel West. I saw he was speaking on these so he called them, our precious Palestinians, brothers and sisters. Well, they ain't my brothers and sisters. I said, okay, since you want to talk about them being precious, when are you gonna? And I sent a link showing how the black Palestinians are treated. I said, so when are you going to ask the white Palestinians why they treat the black Palestinians as if they're inhuman, as if they're less than human? See, none of these people, all these people up here claiming they want to run for black folks, they want to run for public office, they are a joke. All they want to do is take our vote and represent all people except us. And even this dumb, stupid nut, Cornel West, he said that reparations should be paid to black citizens of America. So see, he already showed you he don't sold out. But you want black folks to vote for you. I told him, I was having a conversation with somebody from his campaign. I told him, I said, well, he is not someone that I would vote for. And I always let him know that Dr. Bobby E. Wright, who wrote the book Psychopathic Racial Personality, and Dr. Jacob Carruthers, who wrote the book Intellectual Warfare, they told us about these Sambos and not to have anything to do with them because they're going to sell us out. They told us that. And it's just insane that, Trouble, give me a thumbs up. Is that sheriff up there in South Carolina, is he black? You know, because, oh, no, he's white. Okay, well, I just have to make sure because, you know, some of these black folks, they get in these positions and they act like we just don't exist.
You know, Leon is a white man, but unfortunately, he has a lot of black people who sing his praises and boost him up rather than vote him out.
See, that's the other thing. And I'm sure that he goes to the black churches and they all clicked in. See, that's that 501(c) crap that they got the churches on lockdown now. If anybody noticed, when have you seen a black church, a black preacher to come out and say something? And we all remember back in the 90s when Fred Price, Pastor Fred Price of was the Crenshaw Christian Center, when he did a year's sermon on racism in the Christian church. You had black preachers coming out attacking this man. Reverend Price was a strong supporter of Dr. Claude Anderson. And you had all these black preachers coming out.
You talking about Frederick Price?
Yeah.
Okay.
Frederick K.C. Price, yes. Yeah, Frederick K.C. Price. And you had all these black preachers coming out attacking this man, saying that he was wrong. This ain't the time to have this conversation. So when is the time? Because see, white people understand. They got these stupid black people on lockdown, and they ain't going anywhere. They tell them, y'all stay away from them troublemakers over there. All they gonna do is get y'all in trouble. Well, I plan to get in trouble. Okay, this is insane. And what hurts so bad is that how they like to promote Atlanta as being this black Mecca, and it is nowhere near being a black Mecca. And these people show us all the time. As Newstoter, you've heard me. I read off how the current mayor, who said that he wanted to make Atlanta the black gay capital of the South, or I guess the non-blacks.
He said that.
Oh yeah, you remember I read that?
I can't remember. I can't remember now.
Wait a minute, hold up. I'm gonna DM you that because I got it. Let me go get this flash drive. I'm gonna DM you that because this boy, he has gone stock waving mad.
Yeah, go ahead and DM me that one. Like,
we're gonna DM you this. And the saddest part about it, he said this, and this was on his platform when he ran for mayor. And the black people here, they are so stupid. They voted for the boy anyway. Well, see, technically, the other person that he was running against, she wasn't any better because she had the same thing on her platform that she was going to do for the illegal aliens, and she was going to take care. And she was going to take care of the gay white community. And so I said, "Oh no, I'm not voting for this," and I didn't. You see, now they're trying to work out how they're going to convince us, because see, that thing about our ancestors dying for the right to vote don't work anymore. That's dead. But it's just sad that, and you see these, you see the Republicans, and we already have seen how Jim Crow Joe did not want to support reparations for us. He just basically came out and said it to black folks' face. And you got all these people like Al Sharpton and others. They sit up there like a nut and won't represent us. If you look at, if anybody, I know a lot of you have noticed how any of these high-profile black people, they going out here saying this, repeating this garbage, this black and brown. Well, I mean, my race is black, but my skin is brown. So which brown people are you talking about? I need to know. And this is why we are in the position that we are in. These people, we have allowed them to run amok. And until we see, that's why I'm glad that Sheila Jackson Lee, she lost that mayor's race in Houston. Until we start kicking them out of office, letting them know you're not going anywhere. We need to do what the people in Maryland did to Donna Edwards. When she, as I mentioned before, she ran for Senate. They voted for the white boy over her. And then she ran for a position like a county commissioner seat. They said, no, we don't want you represented. And she lost that too. So she hasn't tried to run for anything else. See, they've been so comfortable in using us as pawns. And now that they see that some of us are already awakened and there are others that are waking up now, this is just insane. And they want us to continue to support them, just like that Keisha witch. And she sit up there, and I told her, I said, well, if you show yourself approved, and you got this other guy, he's a Julian Bond's son, Michael Julian Bond. This boy look like he's never missed a meal in his life. And they sit up there and they go along with this stuff because, trust me, they can't, regardless of how much money white folks give them, they can't win unless we get out there and vote for them. And for whatever reason, a lot of black folks don't want to force that issue. Because you got, here in Atlanta, you got there's a talk radio station, WAOK. And it's basically nothing but a Democratic shield station. That's all the majority of people that call in, they're Democrats. And they're going to push that Democratic agenda. They're not trying to do, and if you say something that they don't approve of, they won't let you get on. They won't let you get on that. That's why I quit listening and calling in and listening. But they didn't like what I was saying, and I really didn't care. But that's how they operate things here in this city. If you don't go along with the format, they want to ignore you. So, well, you can ignore me all you want, but I didn't want anything to do with you in the first place. And that's just me being real. So I think people should wake up across this country and understand that these white people, it doesn't matter what their political affiliation, their political or religious affiliation is. They hate us. And they're going to do, and I wouldn't be surprised if this guy, he may have had a conversation with Jim Crow Joe. Because that's how they roll. We all have seen the racist things that he has said about black folks over the years. This is in these people's DNA. And that's exactly why I will not vote for Donald Trump. Unless Donald Trump is screaming reparation to the rafters, no, he will not get a vote from me. He nor any Republican. And so you see what, in Newstoter, there was an article, I had referenced it before, It's like within like
real quick, original. Hold on to that real quick, and let me get to Tata, and then I'm gonna come back and get right back to you.
Okay.
Tata, how you doing tonight?
Hi, everyone. Hi, family. I'm good, Toter. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on with you? I know you've been seeing and reading all this stuff that's been going on lately here in Florida, which is no surprise, but
I know. I'm just my brain. I'm just so over it. I'm just so over it because I spend every day just trying to tell people, please wake up. Are you looking or are you listening to what's going on? Do you guys see what's going on out here? I'm just I'm like just drained. I just don't know. So yesterday, my mom called me and she was like, "Look, it's cold. I cooked some chili. You better get over here and get some of this stuff." And I was like, "Okay, let me go and get some," because it was like 40 degrees yesterday and today. Yeah, that's cold for us here in Florida.
and it was at 30s up here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, it's cold. It's gonna be cold tomorrow too. So while I was sitting there with my mom, that came up, and then I was like, "Oh, the Newstoter just posted that he's gonna talk about that." She was watching the news, and it was showing the reparation bill and all of that, and I was asking her, I said, are you paying attention to this? Because she watched the news all the time, and I was like, I wonder who's paying attention, to what's going on. They showing this on the news, who's mad because, about this, and so she was like, yeah, but anyway, she was telling me not too long ago, today, I was asking her, I was like, Mom, you said they integrated back when she was she was going to the 9th grade is where she went to school. They integrated and she went to school with all the white kids. And so my mom is 67 years old and she graduated in 1975. So that wasn't that long ago, And, these people, they want to speak for what we shouldn't have. I'm like, you wasn't even here. And I'm like, I'm just so over it. Ron DeSantis, Rick Scott, all of them. And I work for the Central Florida Workforce Development. And thank God I work from home because every now and then I may go into the office to scan paperwork or whatever, but I don't know. I couldn't do it if I had to just sit in there, with all of these immigrants, working inside of this place. And my home office is if I go in, I'll go into the Kissimmee office, but I work all 5 counties, but I work out at the college in Kissimmee. So lots of Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans, everybody there. And I was today. I happened to go into the office, and I was sitting. Went into the room because I work with the young adults, 16 to 24 years old, and but we had a big meeting. I think just before Thanksgiving, and they were telling everybody that we have used up 80% of the funding. And the funding that we use to place people in training programs, kids who coming out of college or high school, putting them in trade school programs, but 80% of that funding is gone. And everybody, the fiscal year just started July 1st. So where's the money? That has never happened. I've been working with the workforce development 18 years. And when we run out of money that fast. So they're like, and I'm asking them because I'm blind. I have to bite my tongue. And I'm like, where's them? And I'm asking the ladies in this room. There was like 5 of us in this room today. And I'm like, where's all the money? And they were telling me they got to hand select who they want to put through the pipeline into these programs. So it's the veterans. You have to be a veteran. And you have to be at a certain income with food stamps, and those are the selected people that they're looking at right now to put through those programs. So when I'm in the office sometimes and I listen to the case managers to see who they're talking to, and the last time I was in there before, the lady, she was talking to a Venezuelan young lady. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, and then I see all these people coming through because the workforce, they set up all these different programs for people who, when the storm happened in Puerto Rico and a lot of people from the islands came into Florida, they had funding set aside for those people. They have all kinds of stuff that they come up with. And that's where the money is going, to these people. And whatever they were doing before Ron DeSantis, put it out there that they can't work here or whatever. But a lot of that money is gone due to, these people coming through, eating up the funding. So everybody is looking crazy right now because we're just, almost in December. And, who we going to be, who's going to have the opportunity to go through these trade programs where the funding is coming from. I'm like, it's just crazy. I just don't know what to say. And these white folks, they got so much to say about what we should not have as far as our reparations. My family, I'm born and raised here in Florida, but my grandparents on my mom's side are from Georgetown, South Carolina. My great-grandmother, she was born in 1883. Her house is still standing, which was part of a plantation, the land that house is still sitting on. And she grew up in Paulus Island, South Carolina, which is Georgetown area. But I'm like, I just don't get it. But one more thing, let me tell you this. Okay, so while I was sitting in the office today I was sitting in the office with a Jamaican young lady, Mexican, and a Puerto Rican, and then it was me. And so we were talking, and one of the ladies, she asked the Jamaican girl, she was like, where are you, where you live? And she was like, oh, I live in Kissimmee, but in Poinciana. Anybody that know about, the Poinciana area here in Kissimmee. And so she was like, she said, I thought you lived in Polk County. So the Jamaican girl, she was like, oh no, that's the ghetto. And I'm like, excuse me? The ghetto? I'm born, raised. That's where all my family is, in that county. And I'm like, the ghetto? I said, last time I checked, I wasn't raised in no ghetto. I was raised with masons, engineers. My dad is a welder. My mom is a culinary cook. Doctors, lawyers. I was like, where's the ghetto? What are you talking about? And then I was like, let me give you a little history about the area that you all moved to here in Kissimmee. I say this area was a made-up town called Poinciana, where they moved a lot of people coming from New York, Chicago. All of these people moved into that little area that spread around in the Kissimmee area, which brought nothing but a bunch of gangs, 13 members, and everything. And I'm like, so I said, so that's where I said all the crime, all of that is where you guys are living. All the Jamaicans, the Caribbean, all of these people live in this area called Poinciana. And Poinciana is one half is part of Kissimmee, and the other half is on the Polk County side. So back in like the late 80s, that's when people were coming in from the islands up north. They were coming into that area, and they were coming into our high school. So that's when when we started seeing a lot of these people, because they started coming into our high school. Mind you, I'm telling my age. I graduated in 92. So some of these people were coming in like when I was like in middle school. That's when they built up that area right there. But so they got real quiet. I was like, let me just hush and before I say something. to these women here. I say, because if you need a history lesson, I'm the one that can tell you, give it to you, and tell you exactly what went on and how this area was created. I was like, and I'm definitely not from a ghetto. So, but I don't know, you guys. These people, like Original say, they just gonna have to wake up, because I think I was the only one that wasn't in the Chucks and Pearls crew here from where I am. So, and every time I notice when I put on Facebook, because I hate being on there, when I'll try to check in on Facebook, and I'll try to.
I hate Facebook, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do, and I, all my family, everybody's on there, so I'll try to post the little things, from Twitter, topics or whatever. So, they don't like none of the stuff. Everybody's scared to say reparations. They scared to say things on Facebook or whatever. But the minute I post anything about some nonsense or whatever, I get an influx of people. But you never, like I shared Marcel thing with the tethers and all of this, Silver Dollar Road and all of this stuff. They, just to test the temperature, and they never bite on any of that, but nothing but a bunch of nonsense. Anything about the election, what's going on, they never bite on, comment, like any of that. I just don't get it. So I'm just sick of it. But that's all I have to say. Thank you for letting me speak, Tony.
Thank you, Tata. Glad to hear from you. I definitely feel you with all of this stuff that's going on here in Florida as well, too. It's definitely a bunch of crazy stuff going on. And the thing you mentioned, not to get off topic about Facebook, I don't know how many times they put me in jail or whatever. I mean, just simple stuff just off of the website. I'm just sharing over there. So it got to the point, I'm like, you know what? I just started posting a few things here and there back on Facebook and stuff like that. But, Facebook, I just never could really get that traction with, because I was posting a bunch of news. Now, you're right. If you post a bunch of, entertainment news, which, the site has a bunch of that as well, too, you'll get more traction. But, I'm trying to mix it in. I'm trying to hit you with the actual, with some of the actual news going on in Black America. And every time you share it, and the people, this goes against our community guidelines. I'm like, what? How's this going against any community guidelines? So occasionally I go to Facebook, I'll post some stuff over there, but I'm not over there the way I should be over there. But it just, it's just a little bit too difficult, to be honest. Let me give a shout out to everybody on YouTube. Y'all definitely go ahead and make sure y'all click that notification, because I'm telling you, YouTube is not sending out the notification whatsoever. If you're listening to the broadcast on YouTube and you have not already subscribed to the Newstoter YouTube channel, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is for the people on YouTube as well as the people in the Twitter space. Y'all make sure y'all visit newstoter.com to stay daily on breaking Black news. That's newstoter.com. Definitely the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. So definitely go ahead and definitely keep everything up with that. So definitely visit newstoter.com just to go ahead and get a refresh on what's going on in Black America today. We got news, we got entertainment, we got lifestyle, we got culture, we got education, politics, you name it, the entire gamut, curated from some of the best Black news sites, bloggers in the actual business as well too. So definitely go ahead. Tomorrow night, we're gonna be talking about the girl that was got her nose broke at the high school, got a nose not high school, got a nose broke at school, apparently from a white dude. So not to go get too much into that, we're going to be discussing that. The sister got suspended, so we're going to be talking about that. I'm also gonna add into the mix as well to the situation with a Big Boy from Outkast. You got a bunch of people online saying that he said said a racial slur to an Asian gas station cashier. So we're going to be discussing that in the space tomorrow night as well too. So definitely come through, guys. Definitely come through. For those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal here on Twitter and the Jumbotron, and the PayPal and Venmo are in the actual description on YouTube as well. Let me get to Sister Rera. I see her up here. Rera, what's going on? Look like you was having some connection issues. Are you there? Nope. She was having some connection issues. So Rera, I think she may have had to leave the space for a second, but hopefully we'll get her back up here. Black Pressure, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Yo, what up, Kyle?
What's up?
What's up, Black family? Look, hey, first, I wasn't going to say anything at first. Sit back listening. I want to take just a few seconds. I promise you, I'm not even going to be 90 seconds, if that. When you sent me that the little link to your room about the topic you're going to talk about tomorrow, I didn't know anything about the little girl.
Oh yeah.
So I was at work, of course. Fucking living my job, so I was at work.
That pressure, that pressure. That's why you gotta. That's what I'm telling you. You got to go to Newstoter because I tweeted that right up.
I'm on it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on it too. Yeah. But I went and looked it up. News. Let me make you understand something, bro. I want you to understand. I want you to, like my girl used to say, I want you to listen good. Do you know that if that was my daughter and I got that call, then white folks would have to kill me if I came up to that school? I'm talking about a straight effing gorilla would have showed up to that school and you would not have been able to reason with me. Anybody, I'm telling, I'd have beat the shit out the dude, the little boy daddy. I'd have whipped him, any administrator that got my way. I'm telling them white folks would have to tase me when they came up there. I bullshit you not. I read that, man. I'm serious. I was hot all day when I read that. Now I'm mute up and listen.
Yeah, when I saw that too as well, I was like, what in the world? That's why we got that space tomorrow night. We're going to talk about that because when I saw that, I could not believe it. I could not believe the actual punishment, what was handed out as well too. And my understanding that it's a developing story. So more has actually changed and we'll get into that tomorrow night as well too. And I got to throw my man Big Boy from Outkast up in this as well too. I've already created a space, but I'm going to go ahead and edit it so I can put Big Boy up in the actual title as well too. They're trying to say that my man is Rera. I had you up here, sister, but I saw you disconnected. So if you want to come back up here, just request to speak. But I saw them trying to say that my man Big Boy was had a racial slur to the Asian gentleman. So we'll go ahead and we gonna cover that tomorrow night as well, too, guys. So we gonna Thursday night space. We gonna blend it in with news and a little bit of entertainment as well, too. So y'all definitely come and check us out tomorrow night. Definitely we'll be up on it. Sister Rera, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Peace and blessings to the family. How are you, Newstoter?
Oh, I'm doing good. Can't complain.
I mean, besides all that stuff happening in Florida.
Oh yeah.
So my only thing is, okay, so we got Florida talk about no reparations. We got this other bill for 4321 that's coming out of Texas. And so I'm like, first of all, what's going on with that bill? Was it passed? Was it declined? What happened? And then you have in Florida this new one coming up. So it's like, it kind of seems like all these states who are super racist are going to take this kind of tone when it comes to reparations, especially since we don't have really very many, political people out here talking about them. And it's just like, who's next? Is it going to be Mississippi, Alabama, California, better yet? They're already shutting down reparations that haven't even been given. They haven't even been given. They haven't even had a study that I know of in Florida, and they're already saying no. It's given very racist. It's given very evil, and it's given not trying to change the way that this system is when it comes to us. Everybody's fine as long as we're the villains, as long as we're the only ones getting locked up, as long as they can shoot us and not go to jail or and get GoFundMes for like $1 million. Everybody else is fine with the demise of us. But the only thing that's weird is if we're the main people buying stuff, how do they expect to survive without us? How do they expect to survive if there's not black people in black neighborhoods where they set up the shop to feed their families? it's like they're digging a ditch that they aren't going to be able to get themselves out of. No one's putting new restaurants and new stores and stuff in white neighborhoods. They're not allowed. They're not doing it in Chinese neighborhoods. They're not doing it in any neighborhood except for the ones that are predominantly ours. So with us being broke and bottom caste, I don't understand why they don't think we will pinch our pennies tighter and make it even harder for them to survive. If you're surviving off of our money, it would just make sense to give us some more. But that's just my personal opinion, and I'll land there. But if anybody does know anything about the H4321, what's going on with that, I greatly appreciate some information on that. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Ms. Turner.
Thank you, Rerod. And you're right. I mean, the money, like we said before, the money that Black people would get would actually just stimulate this economy so much. I saw Muffet posted that Henry Kissinger died. I guess he was 100 years of age. Yikes. I mean, he lived a long time. If he was 100, that's a long time to live. So, hey, most of us won't see 100 years of age. So if he lived that long, rest in peace to him. That's a long time to live. And that, as long as you're in pretty good health as well, too, that's considered to be a blessing. So a lot of people gone. I know Jimmy Carter's wife, she passed away a couple of days ago as well, too. So they're having a lot of stuff about her as well. So and just getting back to what you were saying, Rerod, I agree with you 100%. You give the money to Black people and stuff like that, and it's going to stimulate the economy. And these people know this as well, too. Any economist knows that the kind of infusion of cash this would be right here for the entire country, it would be beneficial. It would really be beneficial. The thing is that jealousy is what makes this not want to happen, because even though this would be in everybody's best benefit, since we're a country that claims we want to stop the racial wealth gap, we want to get rid of poverty, we want to have equality and everything else, and you're just a couple checks away from cashing and making all of this possible. The fact of the matter is that you like having an underclass that you can really bully and beat up on, and it makes you feel good about yourself. So that's the reason why you're not trying to do it. Because if you were really sincere, if you was really saying, you know what, we can go ahead and let's try to put a serious dent into poverty. Let's try to put a serious dent into this or that or whatever. You know what would be a good way? Hey, we already owe those people trillions of dollars, really zillions of dollars, but let's go ahead and give them some trillions. We ain't got it. And then I keep getting tired of hearing the same thing. Everybody talk about, well, how you gonna pay $20 trillion? You can't give them all that at once. We know you can't give it all at once, but you can give $200, $300, $400, $500 billion a year. I mean, you can easily do that. You can over a course of 25, 30 years, you can go ahead and do that, and it's not going to break the United States economy one bit. So let me go ahead. I see we got a couple new hands up. Trenton, I see you up here, and I'm gonna get Tata and Trouble. Trenton, what's going on with you tonight? How you doing?
What's going on, man? You hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right. So I want to know where the loving Democrats down there in Florida, what they gonna say about this? Because you always hear these people talking about Republican. We see the Republicans don't support reparations, but you don't see these Democrats out here saying nothing about it, about how I'm putting this bill up there. But you see right now that the Democrats and Republicans are on the same page when it comes to for Black folks, man. Keep us at the bottom. Like the brother said earlier, they just use our vote for other people. You know what I mean? If Democrats are really serious about reparations, they'd come out and say something about this bill that he's trying to push, but they're not. And with this upcoming election, if I don't hear either party saying something about reparations, I'm not voting. It's just a shame that we got to go through all this, Black folks, while you got Venezuelans up there in Chicago committing crimes, being released. Black folks, we don't got nowhere we can go for a sanctuary city, man. And I try to send articles to people who don't even know about this shit that's going on, man. You know about these illegal immigrants getting papered up, and you got these bootlicks out here just telling us we need to go vote, and we asking for what? For voting rights and George Floyd bills, and we seeing all this money being passed out to everybody else. and we still sitting on the sideline. And if Joe Biden was doing so good for us, they can't explain what he's doing so good for black folks. You know, and so like I said, if Democrats really serious about how they care about reparations, they'd say something right now about this bill down there in Florida, but they're not. But if this is about gays, if this is about illegal immigrants, boy, they would have had a press conference, you know what I mean, saying this is xenophobic. But when it comes to us, it's, you know, they probably encourage them to do it. They probably say, you can go and do it. We ain't going to say nothing about it. But there you go right there. Democrats don't care about reparations because they would have been out here saying something about it. Peace, brother.
Peace, Trenton. Appreciate you. And I'm in agreement with everything you said. And I raised you one too. Y'all remember a few months ago when you started having all of the stuff about the curriculum in Florida and everything, and you had the NAACP come out and say, boycott Florida, don't go to Florida. They started setting up these advisories not to come to Florida. Let's see what they say about this situation here too. Let's see, does this also get a boycott Florida vote right here? Are they going to speak about this? Like I said, we know there's a number of black Democrats on this app that hold spaces as well too. So let's see exactly what type of leadership they're going to use and say, hey, you know what? We got to combat what this senator was saying right here. We got to go ahead and stand against this right here because there's a whole bunch of people, you know, that like they say, if you don't vote Democrat, then you're just destroying yourself or this and that or whatever. So, like I said, let's see what the NAACP say about this situation with this Senator Blaze and Gagales or whatever the hell his name is. I'm not even gonna pronounce this dude's name no more. This dude, Blaze. Let's see what they say about this situation here. Are they gonna say, oh, you know what? We definitely need to tighten up this boycott Florida thing. We definitely don't need to go to Florida. Or we don't do this or whatever. Or are they just gonna come here? Period. Even if you say we're not going to boycott Florida, we're going to go ahead and we're going to speak on this and say, hey, you know, this senator was dead wrong. Who's he to sit up here and tell black people that try to create an amendment saying that you're gonna stop anybody that's a descendant of chattel slavery, basically that was in this state, and you're going to say that they're not entitled to any kind of cash reparation payments. I mean, who are you? And like I said, this dude, I seriously doubt his family was even in this country when all of this was going down. But he's come over here and he's enjoyed the American dream, and he wants to sit up here and tell somebody what else, what you shouldn't be entitled to. But at the same time, that him and some of these other lawmakers in Florida are sitting up here trying to create this bill called the Historical Monuments and Memorial Protection Act, so they can go ahead and protect the actual legacy and the history of these damn slave traders, these people, these Confederates, the insurrectionists. Not and with that little thing that we saw on DC a couple years ago in January, let's be for real, that was nothing. You know, the true insurrectionists, that the insurrection that happened in this country was a civil war. That thing that transpired on the Capitol was nothing. And you saw most of them just got a slap on the wrist as well too. Yeah, they hit some of them. They finally hit some of the bigger ones with, you know, some time or whatever, but they didn't really want to do that. And if you didn't have cameras and everything else around and stuff like that, they probably wouldn't have got anything at all. So I just want to go ahead and mention that as well. I see Bobby on YouTube says from 1964 until now, black people have voted over 90% for Democrats and have not received anything for our vote. I agree 100% with you on that right there as well too, Bobby. Let me go ahead and get to we got two new hands up here, so I'm gonna get to Queen Bee and Stephanie, and then I'm gonna get to you, Trouble. Let me get to Stephanie. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
No, I think it was those two first. I'll raise my hand last. I'm gonna be fair.
Okay, we're just trying to get the new speakers, give y'all a chance to speak real quick because I know Trouble, she spoke earlier. I'm trying to get you and Queen Bee, so you can go ahead, Stephanie, and speak.
Okay, salute to you, and I'm so glad you guys are calling this out. Salute to the entire chat. Hi, everybody. I think that's unconstitutional, so I think that it could be a lawsuit could be filed against it on that part. And just thinking of the name, looking up the name alone, it does sound Italian, and he's from Queens. And when I think of a name like that, and he's from Queens, I think of Howard Beach. Okay, 1986, Michael Griffin. I think of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, 1989, with Yusef Hawkins. So it's no stranger. I mean, it's not a strange thing for him to move to a certain district with people of his own peers and his emotions, how he feels. That's the way some of them usually feel, especially when it comes to suppressing us. And what they don't realize is that, well, they do realize that they just don't care. They just don't want us to have anything, just like the other speaker said. They would rather blow this country up than to see us get any type of just due, any type of repair, any type of elevation of any kind, any resources that comes directly to us. They're going to be there to try to block it. So that just goes to show you what kind of person he is. Like I said, if he's from Queens, New York, so just imagine what type of emotions and feelings he's going to push down there. And to me, it seems like with all of those white supremacists that are there, clan country, all of it is basically clan country. It's like they can easily pass these laws that we don't really realize are actually laws that's hurting us. Because a lot of us didn't see all of this. And it's just me seeing this in real time. It's almost heartbreaking. They can pay reparations if they want to. New York alone had spent over $200 billion or maybe $20 billion, I forgot. They had cases of racism against Black people as far as trying, discrimination wise. These people, $16 trillion this nation paid in because of racism against Black people, primarily Black Americans. So, if they paid Afghanistan a total of $20 trillion, the trillions of dollars are just leaving this country. So there's enough money to give us reparations. So it's just all excuses just to keep us quiet, try to shut us up. So as far as I'm concerned, keep fighting. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Stephanie. Thank you. Definitely appreciate having you up in. Like you said, yeah, he is from Queens. He moved to I think he moved to Florida in '96 or whatever. Couldn't really find anything about his family's background. I was looking, couldn't really find anything about him. But shout out to you, Stephanie. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Queen B. Queen B, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, good evening, Newstoter, and everybody in the room.
Good evening.
So, so where to start? I mean, yeah, I was in a room yesterday. We were talking about this bill, and it's just like every week there's something, and they have just gone full throttle with this thing. I think a lot of this is happening for political reasons. I'm not familiar with this senator that, that's trying to get this bill or the state constitution amended. But I do know that DeSantis is running for president, and maybe this guy and some of his Republican colleagues in the state legislature have ambitions to run for governor, or maybe even perhaps be a cabinet member of DeSantis if he were to become president. So I think there's a lot of political moves being made, and the fact that they can just say, hey, you know what, we'll just keep using Black people as a punching bag. They're not putting any sort of legislation together about illegal immigrations, none of that. It's just like they want to use us as their punching bags. So I think it was Stephanie or somebody or everybody I've heard speak. I had to leave the room for a little bit. I just got back in. That said that we have to keep fighting, and I believe the fight has just begun. We can't sit idly and do nothing. And I know that a few months back, when that bill came, I think it was about the education in Florida. You guys were just speaking about that. And the NAACP and everybody got involved, and you're absolutely right. And the only thing I can say, I believe that the Democrats, at least the ones that are on this app that seem to be, those people who are always wanting us to vote Democrat, I won't mention their names, but I'll mention Nikki's name because I think she's probably involved in politics down there. But they are basically Pan-Africans anyway. So what, they don't want to see a bill that says specifically, going back to descendants of the enslaved of 1865. So they're, what's in it for them if they're Pan-Africans? They don't want that. So, and again, I don't know their hearts. I'm not speaking, but I'm just saying in general, it just seems like that would not be something that they would fight against, because they fight us when we say this, that we're trying to delineate. So this bill would be right in line with their thinking. I would think. But I think, that there's so much work to do. And I also would like to challenge anybody who's at least not maybe a fourth generation immigrant running for any sort of political office. And because we have collectively as a people not been involved politically, unfortunately, these other groups have come over here. I'm seeing now where you have first generation immigrants that are running for office, and they're looking out for their people. That's what they're going to do. They're going to look out for their people. So they're coming over here and they're like, well, you know what? We know that the black people are the bottom caste here. We'll keep them that way. And we're going to look out for our group of people. So we're going to pass legislation. We're going to do things that are going to be in the interest of our people. And we have people here in this country, including immigration attorneys. And, this is a big concerted effort that's being done right now with this illegal immigration to get these people to run for office. And they'll be in the local offices and they will work their way up. Or pretty much they'll position them so that they will be in all of the houses, state, local, all the way up to the federal offices, if we don't get on the move on and start running for office. And, like Marcel says, we need to be the candidates that we are looking for. We got to, because it's just, I just don't know how much longer we can go, because we know the next step is going to be amnesty. That's the next step. They give these people amnesty and then they have political power too. There we go. So we need to do more. We need to do more. And you know what? And I live in northern Kentucky, and I just came out of a Target store where they were playing some Hispanic Christmas music in there. So, I have seen where I live just change over the last year. These people are coming in by, you said the busloads in New York and Chicago. They coming in by the busloads and the airplanes here in northern Kentucky. This place looks nothing like it looked a year ago, and they are letting it be known. These people are here. They're here to stay, and we need to adopt to their culture. They're playing their music in the stores. So, yeah. So anyway, I'll go ahead and land, and thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Queen Bee. As always, I definitely love having you come up in the space and definitely kick some knowledge with us. So, as always, thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Trouble. You had your hand up. Did you still want to speak or no?
Let Stephanie go ahead and go, and I'll circle back around.
Okay, Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, Trouble. I wanted to respond to Original. Original, the person that you was talking about that said that immigrants built this nation, that was Yvette D. Clarke from New York, a Democrat. She's tried to pass a bill a few years back. She wanted to give people of Caribbean descent some money, and it got rejected. So, yeah, that's who you're talking about, Yvette D. Clarke.
Oh, no, we have one here in Atlanta, too. Her name is Keisha Waits. She's on the city council. She was interviewed by the local news, and she said that this country was built by immigrants. And that's why I said these people, they do not care about us, and that's why we should stop voting for them. Because once they see, one of the previous mayors, that Keisha Lance Bottom, who was working with Jim Crow Joe, she was on a radio station here, and she was promoting, immigration.
Hey, original, you sound a little muffled.
Okay, what about now?
No, you sound better now.
Okay. Well, she was on the local radio station promoting immigration. And then the host said, well, when these people get here, when their numbers get in place, they're not going to vote. They're not going to vote for you. They're going to vote for their own people. And she sat there probably looking like the dumb nut fool that she is. So yeah, they are all over the country whereby these people, they are promoting any other demographic over us. And that's why I had to quit. Oh, and Newstoter, look in your DM. I sent you that platform. It's under, and the saddest part about it, it's Andre Dickens, the current mayor of Atlanta, and that's his, and that was on his diversity and inclusion platform, where he only stated what he would do for basically the gay white community, and said nothing that he would do for black folks. And they call this progress, that we're moving forward by they say he's a so-called progressive. No, progressive. I don't care what it's progressivism, Democratic, Republican. It's all anti-black, and they hate us to our very essence. And so, please share that with other people, or if you come in contact with someone they're discussing politics, just say, hey, you know, a brother in Atlanta, he captured this the current mayor's platform, and this is his platform on the diversity and inclusion. And it talked about how he wanted these gay conferences and gay businesses and this, that, and nothing for black folks. And these dumb black folks went out there and voted for this nut. I mean, it's crazy. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, Original. Thank you. I see No Taxation's up in the house as well, too. So shout out to No Taxation. I see Rella down there as well, too. What's up, Ray? What's up, Val? What's up, Goddess? What's up, Callie? What's up to a bunch of y'all up in the space, 400? All of y'all up in the space. Shout out to all you guys up in the space. Definitely go ahead and retweet the space out as well, too. Definitely go ahead and retweet the space out as well. Trouble, did you want to go ahead and say something? I know you say go to Stephanie, then come back to you. I don't know if you're ready or.
Yeah, just real quick. I've got a million things going right now. My husband was listening into the conversation, and he made a comment about the fact that what these crackers, what these people are counting on is basically us having a short memory, and the fact that they know that essentially at the end of the day, we don't have another nation to flee to. We don't have another nation to run to. And they're counting on us continuing to do the same things that we've always done, which is sit still and be quiet and not make too much noise. He also feels like they absolutely know exactly what they're doing, and they have no intentions of making good on any promises or doing anything for us, because we've never truly forced them to do anything substantial as far as reparations is concerned. And his views and my views on reparations are two different views, because he views all of this SHIT as our stuff, and something that we shouldn't have to fight for, because it's gonna come back to us anyhow, But I'm a fighter, and so fight is what I do. But at the same time, God, my brain is so frazzled right now. It's we know the devil that we're dealing with. We're gonna have to get it in our heads that we gotta fight him tooth and nail. We gotta learn to use our Constitution the way it was already written to our benefit, which means we're gonna have to break it down so that we can figure out how we can get some of this money floating our way. I think as my husband was saying, it's like they are used to us being in the bottom caste. They're used to us being beneath them, and they want to keep us in that position because they are basically afraid at the end of the day of us doing to them what they continue to do to us. Them placing all of these other nations in front of us, giving them the benefits, bringing them over here, constantly putting them on top of us to keep us all the way down at the bottom. They know exactly what they're doing. And these other nations don't care about us because it's you got to get yours and I got to get mine. They come to our communities and they eat off of us. They benefit off of us continually. And so at the end of the day, we are going to have to do what we once did back in the days. We're going to have to remember the plight of our ancestors, what they went through in order for us to get to where we're even at today, even though it doesn't seem as if we're very far, or maybe we're farther than where we were at. But we're going to have to start leaning and depending on each other again. We're going to have to start collaborating again. We're going to have to get inside of the rooms with each other once again, which is offline. You know, my son has this little saying he loves to say. I don't know where he get it from, but he's been overusing it lately. You got to touch grass. You got to touch grass. So we're going to have to start touching grass again. We got to get offline, and we got to get our people involved, and we got to get out there. You know, it's going to take a whole lot more than what we've been doing. We've got to get out of our comfort zone. Black posted something earlier and said that these, you know, something to the effect of, you know, about a race, and we're not even in the race. Let me pull his post up so I don't misquote the brother, but it's true. You know, he said the people in power are racing to the finish line, and we're not even preparing to race. So we've got to make the decision to prepare to race, let alone get in the race. And we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. We can complain about it. We can sit back and continue to watch what we already know. We already know what it is. But at the end of the day, the question then becomes, what are you willing to do? What is your next move? What are we willing to do? What is our next move? And how long is it going to take for us to implement said move? I don't think these are things that we can come up with and discuss online, because they sit back and they're listening. They're listening right now. They're listening to every space. So as long as we're talking about the moves that we're going to make online, they are already 10 steps ahead, because they're listening to what we're planning on doing. That's why I say we got to get offline and we got to get in a room together, and we got to start implementing it from there. And we don't have long. Time is ticking. You know, we need to do things we should have done yesterday, last year, 3 years ago. We can try to do, you know, what it is that we would like to do or like to see ourselves. You know, people always say, well, what's your plan for the next 5 years? What do you see yourself at in the next five years? But white folks sit back and they strategize for, like Black said, the last 50 years, the next 50 years, the next 100 years in advance. So we already behind the 8 ball. So we got to get out of our comfort zone. I don't know how to stress that. It's dire at this point. It's do or die, do or die. It's do or die. And we got to start thinking that it's do or die. We got a lot of people sitting back and they say, well, I'm going to wait for God to tell me what to do. God is showing you. To those who use God as their reason not to get up and move and do anything, God is not going to come and sit down on a chair next to you and hand you the playbook and say, this is what it is I want you to do, when you being shown, when you being told, when the scriptures are being fulfilled right in front of your face. If that's your belief. I've got family members who sit there and they use that as their excuse not to do anything. Well, you got to have faith, and faith without work is dead. So my religious folks, get off of your religious high horse. Climb down from it. You got to work. You got to put in work. And this thing right here, this ain't no easy work. People get scared when it comes to doing that work because it looks too much like work. But that's exactly what it's going to take for us not to be slaughtered financially, emotionally, physically, mentally. They coming for us. They done came for us. And they sending their minions to finish the job off. So what is your next move?
All right. Thank you, Trouble. Let me give a shout out real quick to 400. 400, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Definitely appreciate it. 400 always shows love. So I definitely just want to go ahead and give a special shout out to you. 400, I was going to DM you too and give you a thank you the other day, but I couldn't DM you because I don't think you're following me. So you I know I'm following you, but if you get a chance to follow back, definitely go ahead and follow back. And like I say, appreciate everything that you definitely do for the platform. I see we got my girl No Taxation up here as well too. And anybody else that wants to speak, go ahead and get your hands up because we're not going to keep the space going too much longer. So if you want to speak before we get ready to close it out, go ahead and raise your hands, come up here, whatever, and I'll go ahead and I'll get you in. But go ahead, No Taxation. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing today, News?
I'm doing all right.
That's good. Hello to everybody in the room. Boy, Trouble, you set it off. And I keep telling folks I can't follow Trouble because she done came in with the fire and burned everything down. So what I'm doing here? I ain't got no business up here. But Trouble is right. We don't have a lot of time. The clock is ticking. I don't know if everybody else is not noticing it. I'm talking about the unenlightened people, not the people in this room, but they done set us up. I'm telling y'all, they putting us in the grave. We already in the casket. We in the grave now. I thought when I saw the title of this room, I said to myself, thank God Newstoter is bringing that thing to light. And so I came in the room to listen. And I guess I didn't read the title properly because I thought you were talking about that bill that guy out in Texas, the congressman, introduced that bill to block the funding for state and local reparations.
Yeah, you got the one in Texas, and you got this one out here in Florida now.
Yeah, that guy out there in Texas, though, that's a federal bill. So he's talking about every state in the country, okay? He's talking about all the states, blocking for all the states. And I think he put that out because he saw the way California was going. This guy out here in Florida, I keep telling y'all, ain't but 4 states that count in this country. New York, California, Texas, and Florida. You see how they act? You see what's happening? All you have to do, if you want to know the climate of the country, look at those 4 states and watch how they're moving. And that'll tell you everything you need to know about this country. All of them are out of place. All of them are whacked out. All of them are full of immigrants or migrants, illegals, foreigners. And they're the white folks are trying to keep them, some white folks, not all, are trying to keep them from taking control. What they don't realize is that when these people get in this country, what they do is immediately form their communities and groups and things like that so that they move in unison. And that's across the country. The Asians are the perfect example of that. They have 22 lobbying organizations across the country. So not only do they lobby on a federal level, they lobby on local levels. And, we need to start taking pages out of other people's playbook on how they're moving and do the same. But I'm with Trouble. Can we do it? The reason I say can we do it is because we're not doing it. And this is the first time in the history of my lifetime that I've ever seen black folks not come together for the sake of black folks. I just ain't never seen this before. When I say black folks, y'all know I'm talking about us. So, I just have never seen this before. And I don't know what the resolution could be because, I'm not that involved myself. But surely something has to give because Trouble is 100% correct. And the research concludes that. Exactly what she said. I don't think people fully understand that we live in a capitalist country under the king system, and that is never going to change. You can do all the communism, socialism, and libertarianism that you want to do, but capitalism rules the day in this country. And the thing about capitalism is that if you don't participate in it, it'll run you over. And we have got to understand that we have got to get a hold of ourselves, because we are owed a piece of the pie. And if you think of it like that and tell people like that, we are owed a piece of the pie. We're owed a piece of the pie if we were never enslaved and not under Jim Crow and didn't have the redlining in house. Why? Because we're taxpayers. So see, our mission is twofold. One, we're owed from what you didn't do with our ancestors. And two, we're owed because we're taxpayers and you're not listening to us as taxpaying citizens of this country. And this is a capitalist society. And if we do not have economic means, we will be extinct. We won't be on the census. It won't matter. It won't matter because we don't have anything economically. And this is a capitalist country. You have to have your money. You have to. You have to have money, assets, dividends, stocks, everything. You have to have all of that to live in this country comfortably. Because right now, clean food is a luxury, clean air is a luxury, clean water is a luxury. All of that is a luxury now. Those are basic necessities that are considered luxuries now in this country. Because we are a third world country with a Gucci belt. That's what we are. And that's what we look like. And poverty begets poverty. So poverty is a generational thing. It gets passed down and passed down and passed down. That's why we have so many problems. Because poverty stops access. And the only way we're going to be able to survive in this country and thrive in this country legitimately is if we have our own piece of the pie. And so this guy down here in Florida and that guy in Texas that are trying to stop reparations, I say, thank you for putting it out there, you two, because now we know how close we are. See? They just gave their hand. They showed their hand when they did that. You know that, right? They showed their political hand. Why are they so scared that they had to put something in writing about reparations? Oh, it must be coming up. See, that's how you have to start looking at it. So be grateful that they showed us who they are. Let's be grateful for that. Let's be grateful that white folks are standing up and saying, no, we don't want them to have reparations, because we must be getting close if you all don't want us to have it. And if we start putting pen to paper, then that means something in this country. And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Thank you. No Taxation. Definitely appreciate you coming up here tonight. And yeah, it's a threat. And that's what I said earlier in the space, for the fact that they have to go ahead and this person is trying to do all of this right here. He's trying to go ahead and get his career and everything up and running as well too, because he may have ambitions of being the next governor of Florida, or even becoming a U.S. senator. So that first and foremost is what this person is trying to do. Go ahead and also trying to rev up the Republican base in the state as well to let them know, like, oh, we're not taking this. We're not going along with this here. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. They're getting to the point where they're starting to get nervous because it's happening all throughout the country. Be honest, it's happening globally. People all, places that were colonized and everything else, they're actually speaking up, talking about reparations as well too. And of course, it was the drums over here that was beating the loudest that everybody heard. And they said, well, if the black people in America can ask for it and demand it, then hell, we can too as well too. So let us go ahead and start trying to seek some justice as well too. So once it started here, it just became a echo that was boomeranging all around the world. So now everybody's saying it as well too. So they're trying to go ahead and let's not. And I'll say that it's not only America that's afraid of it, but it's the Western world that's afraid of actually having to dig in their coffers and from the people that they colonized and enslaved and, just all out robbed and stuff, they're worried about it. They're worried that, hey, if America, and they're looking at it, if America coughs up this money, then hell, we all gonna have to cough it up. So you got Great Britain and you got France and you got all the rest of them. That's why every time they see King Charles, people sitting up here saying, hey, you know what, King Charles, where's our reparations and everything else as well too. So they're afraid and don't, for all of the conflict that these nations have and stuff, these foreign nations, they can get together, sit at the table, because they've done it before. When it was time to go ahead and colonize and enslave people, they can sit at the table and speak to each other, relatively calm and decide how they're going to go ahead and cut things up and slice things up as well too. So don't think that they're not, you don't have Great Britain and you don't have France and the US and Portugal and some of these other nations that were the biggest enslavers on earth worried about, hey, you know what, we got to stand strong. You got to stand strong. You can't fold. You can't. If you fold, then we all got to fold. In Great Britain, they're definitely, you talk about a place that colonized a third of the world. So they're definitely afraid that they're gonna have to reach down in their pockets and pay out as well too. Now you got people talk about, hey, you came to our country and you messed our country up, so now you owe us climate reparations. So everything is getting attached with a reparation behind it as well too. So it's definitely picking up no taxation. And like I say, a lot of these people, they're definitely afraid. They're definitely afraid. So let me go ahead and kick it to Queen B. Queen B, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, Newstoter, thank you for letting me speak again. I just had a thought. You know that DeSantis is debating Gavin Newsom tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I bet this is all coming together for the benefit of that debate also. Because one of the things that DeSantis is going to bring up to Newsom is this reparations in the state. And so that's something we all need to be watching out for too. How is Newsom going to respond? Because DeSantis is likely to say, well, you want to pay reparations. Florida is the state where woke goes to die, and we have the bill right now. Whatever, because he's got to have some talking points. And I think this is another thing that he's going to use, so he can at least be able to say, we have something right now in the House or whatever. You know how he's been bragging about Florida's where woke goes to die and all this other kind of stuff. But I think, it would behoove all of us, I guess, if we're interested, to kind of watch that debate just to see what Governor Newsom, how his response is going to be, because I believe it will come up. And I am very much interested in how he's going to respond to that. And thank you again. I'll land.
Thank you, Queen B. I see we got Rella up here. What's going on? I don't know if Rella wants to speak or anything. Anybody that wants to go ahead and get it in before we close out the space, definitely now is the time, because it's not going to go too much longer. So if you want to speak or say something, let me know, because we have hit our 2-hour mark, and y'all know I like to bounce after 2. But if anybody has anything that they want to add or say anything, let me know.
Hey, Newstoter. Shout out to the room.
What's up, Rella?
Hey, I think I didn't feel a little under the weather. I'm trying to fight off a cold, I think.
Yeah, you sound a little bit under the weather. I hope you feel better though.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's just, the weather's changing out here so fast and quickly. But everybody, no one, I detected no lies on stage, so shout out to the room, to the space. And it's really, it's getting dire. And when I say dire, it's at a point where we really should be in front of the White House, banging on the White House doors, demanding, them to do what it is that they say they were going to do. And it's sad, because even though that sounds all good and great, it won't change the fact that the representatives across this country, including Republicans, are so piss poor that even the people, and I think I heard someone say, These people will literally sell their moms and their families just so that they can see us not get a dime. But the people in positions of power or authority are also depriving all of Americans, so much so just so that they don't have to repair the oldest group in this land. And the crazy thing is, you have the grandchildren, like the senator in Florida, and Ron DeSantis is a second generation American to immigrants, right? He went to Israel and signed a declaration to Israel on behalf of Floridians. And he didn't ask the Floridians if they wanted to do that. He did that because he's in a position to do so. They put him in a position to do so. So his loyalty was never to the Americans at all. His loyalty was to foreign nations. But when we start to point these things out and show how bad that they are, they have been the bane and the disdain of this country. They are the reason why America can't seem to revolutionize and grow past its face. Everything, when they talk about other countries or surpass the United States, you know why? It's because they keep pretty much keeping us back so far back that we can't even take our country into the next evolution. Creativity, technology, reindustrialization, that was all on the backs of the American descendant, the freedmen, the Black Americans, the Negroes. That is what we did, or our ancestors did for our country to get us to this point. And we can't even get to the next marker because you have people who would rather see us drown. Even so much you hear people saying America's going down, America's going down. How could you be an American and say that? But then want to flee the country. So all I'm saying is, it's not just for us to point out the fact that we have not gotten our repair and that we need authority. It's to point out to the other Americans that they are the reasons why we are where we are. They have been the reasons why the positions of people who would rather commit treason against their own country are able to get into positions of authority. Ron DeSantis, the governor down in Texas, they shipping immigrants around this country like chess. If we pay attention, because Greg Abbott put out numbers. He put out some numbers on Twitter of how many immigrants have been moved around in what states. And I responded and I said, it's funny how you got the numbers of these immigrants that have been shipped around like chess pieces, but you don't have the numbers for how many have been deported. They're all in on this. And we have to make sure we understand that we have to get into the game, and Black was right. We are not playing the game. We are only talking about it, and there's a difference. And I get it. Some of it has to do with, people being able to stabilize themselves, being able to take care of themselves and feeling like, you might not have time to do certain things, but all you got to do is one. You just got to do one and be consistent at that one. It don't even have to be everything, because a collective group will do a lot at one time. You just have to pick one and be committed. And I land.
All right. Well, thank you, Rella. I'm glad you came in here. I know you don't sound too hot, but hopefully, I know this weather and everything is crazy. So, like Tata said earlier, depending on what part of the state you're in Florida, we got 40s and 30s and everything else as well too. So we definitely feeling it as well. But thank you for coming up here. Muffet, I saw you came up here. I see we got Dion Jenkins up in the space, so shout out to Dion. You know, if Dion may want to say something as well too. But Muffet, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
I'm fine. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for coming in late because I know you want to end the space, but I just want to say one thing. I'll keep it short. I know all the problems that we face, and I see only one solution, and that's a political solution. And I know no taxation mentioned lobbying. I don't really think that giving our money to hostile political parties is the answer. And on top of that, there's a number of other lobbying groups that have billions of more dollars than anything we can scrape together. So their interests would always be put before our interests with the two major parties. Not that, like, I'm not saying that trying is not an option, but it's my opinion, and I just don't see it going anywhere. I believe our solution is what people like Black American Homeland and Black Majority State always propose, and that's a Black majority state where we're the majority in that state, and we work collectively to gain state control. Now, I know not everyone in the space lives in the South, the Southeast, or the Deep South, but in my point of view, and from my perspective, that's our only option. And one of our issues is that the majority of us in this, and I'm talking about Black, may not see the problems that we see. Those are in this space, or those are on this app, or who speak about our issues, and we see what's happening in this country with immigration, or we see how the politicians treat us. They don't see the problem. So we're not going to begin to make headway into a plurality of us begin to see a problem. And even those that see the problem, we're divided on what the solution is. Because I can imagine that when I just mentioned our solution being a political one, and more specifically, a Black majority state, I'm sure not everyone in this room agrees with me. You know, there's all types of ideas on what the solution could be. But I started with talking about how I didn't believe lobbying would do it, because there's other groups with far more money than us and far more influence already in the political parties. What lobbying or what money can't do, because once again, we're at the bottom as far as wealth. Our numbers could overcome that. If we found a way to get the message out to people, to galvanize them, to utilize our numbers, there would be no billionaire or no group of billionaires that can stop us. There's nobody that can stop us from working together, from organizing, from making everyone conscious that a Black state majority is an option. You know, we have to let everyone know about that agenda. Let them know what the agenda involves. You know, the targeted states, how we can move to that state, how we can work together to create political organizations, and how we can use those political organizations to take control of the state. I mean, it's a process, but right now, no one's even thinking about it. I'm going to end right now, but I would say or reiterate that, in my point of view, that's our one and only option, both to organize and to fight for majority state control. And I'll land there.
All right. Thank you, Muffet. I will say this right here. I believe if we did have a Black majority state in place right now, that state would be the one that would go ahead, and we wouldn't have many issues with actually passing a reparations, even on the state level in that actual state as well too. So that's definitely something that Black and Black American Homeland talk about. And I definitely think that is something that hopefully down the road in the future, for those that have the ability to actually move and actually do that, you know, like I say, if you actually had a Black majority state right now at this point in time, I think you would actually have it could actually be the prototype for how reparations could actually be done on a state level. Of course, federally, you know, it still needs to be done federally, of course, most importantly, but on a state level, because let's be for real, states participated in the actual in the enslavement of Black people in this country as well too. Even though the federal government definitely, you know, had the say, states local and everything else, cities, townships, all of them participated in the actual slave trade. So, but I think if you did have a majority black state right now, you wouldn't have the kind of stuff going on like you do in Evanston and some of these other places where it's just a facade really, and all of it. We got a reparations commission and all this other stuff when they could actually go ahead, get the commission, do the study, and find ways to implement ways to go ahead and how to actually pay people that were actually descendants of chattel slavery in that state. Let me go ahead. I said we got Dion up in here.
Can I add one more thing?
Real quick, go ahead.
I apologize for jumping. The lesson I take from Florida, the Florida politician proposing this bill, is not that, and many may disagree with me, but it's not that we're close to reparations. Florida has a tendency of looking for problems that don't exist and using political tactics to inflame passions, especially for the racists in Florida. Like they brought up critical race theory and woke when that's actually not a problem. Critical race theory isn't even taught in schools. It was brought up in one college, and they make it seem like it's a nationwide problem. So I don't agree it's because we're close to reparations, because I don't see any politician in this country or any legislature in any state or the federal government being closer to agreeing that they would like to give us reparations. I just see it more as the local politicians in that state inflaming tensions, possibly for the upcoming debate, but more so to gain support amongst their electorate. That's not actually, and it's not an issue that's actually going anywhere, or was it actually an issue in Florida? It's just that they want to inflame their electorate for base support. And I'll land there.
All right. Thank you, Muff. Appreciate it. And that's definitely one way of looking at it as well, too. So we'll definitely see with that debate coming up, we'll definitely see about that as well, too. Let me go ahead and get to Dion. Dion, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm glad I was able to come on stage. I think there was and I'm going to just talk on this briefly. I think you misunderstood me one time when I hit you up in the comments. I didn't mean that to sound like it was coming at you in a disrespectful way. It was actually a kind of a reach out. I think you probably took it the wrong way, but that's besides the point. I came up here to really let the people understand that Dion D. Jenkins, myself, I am a presidential candidate. I'm a reparations candidate. Ran for Senate last year. I had about 7,000 votes. I came in last, but at the same time, I'm not going to give up this fight. And you have a candidate that's not before you on the reparations platform. Now, to address the title, is very, very interesting, because when we talk about the state of Florida, it is the state that is known for the most famous killing that pretty much launched the Black Lives Matter movement. We all know who that is. And I think Florida have a special interest to curve away any type of future movements that may evolve around Black progress. I think they were traumatized in a way after that happened. And I think they have a real agenda to make sure that anything dealing with Black progress is annulled immediately and neutralized immediately. And when you have a person like myself that's running for president, I'm going to actually use the full extent of the law of the executive branch if I'm elected in 2024. I'm going to use the Patriots Act and the RICO Act, and I'm going to issue a state of emergency because I already have the FBI in 2016 stating that white terrorist organizations have infiltrated law enforcement. I already have another FBI memo in 2014 stating that white terrorist organizations grew from 149 to over 1,000 groups. And I have a sitting president named Joe Biden who admitted that white terrorism is the number one white domestic terrorism is the #1 problem in America. He admitted that at Howard during a Howard speech. So I'm going to have all of the jurisdiction to issue a state of emergency, and I need people to come to my. Right now, I'm having a "If I Was President" series. It's a space series where I educate the people of the full extent of the law that a president has if elected. So if there's any questions of my platform, if anybody having concerns of my platform, or even if you have any doubt, like how can you get reparations through a presidency? Well, if you come to my platform, I will educate you on that. And D.I.D. Jenkins 2024, I think is going to be a historical candidacy because I am the only candidate speaking on these issues that we're talking about today. So please make sure that you come to these spaces so you can hear the message. But I really want to talk about Florida because when you talk about Florida, you're talking about a state that have very strict stand your ground laws. But when it comes to Black Americans, these stand your ground laws don't really work for us, right? So that's just to show you the racial component of law and being able to enforce the law in your favor. And when you're talking about reparations, that is supposed to solve the problem. Reparations is not just a check. It's not just a monetary compensation. It's being able to repair the damage of what white supremacy caused our people. And it really bothered me because all last year there was a whole narrative going on this side on this app stating that reparations is not supposed to solve the problem of white supremacy. And that always bothered me because in my mind I'm thinking, well, the word repair is actually in the word reparations. So when you're talking about reparations, you're actually talking about repairing something, right? So if you're repairing something and if you are to be made whole, then obviously there's something there to basically fix a problem. And if you're talking about white supremacy, racism, and everything that happened to our people in this nation, you're talking about a repairing of damage. So we either going to get reparations or we're not, right? But people are using the word reparations in order to galvanize people, but they don't really have the intent into actually solving this problem. And it really bothered me. I'm glad that people are moving away from that conversation on the app and now understanding that reparations is supposed to solve this problem that we're in. And it's really a breath of fresh air to hear these conversations. Talking about Florida, I've mentioned a brother talking about critical race theory and how they're basically trying to use legislation to exit out history, Black history being taught in these schools. And all of that is a problem, right? So as Black Americans, we really have to do something about this. And so, D.I.D. Jenkins 2024, come to the spaces. I have a series damn near every morning. So if anybody have any questions, please come to these spaces and I will enlighten you on what's going on. And I'm gonna land right there.
All right, thank you, Dion. I appreciate you coming up here. It was no hard feelings when we had that communication in the tweet that time. I was just simply letting you know exactly what we did on Newstoter. So it's no hard feelings and just trying to clarify just for future reference. So no harm, no foul. Foul, as they say in basketball. Let me give a shout out real quick to everybody in the space, guys. Make sure y'all retweet the space out so your followers can get a chance. If they don't catch it live, they can always listen to the recording. So definitely retweet the space out for me as well. But everybody on YouTube, make sure you guys share out the actual podcast tonight. Click that notification bell for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, the Venmo and PayPal is up in the Jumbotron. And we also have the PayPal and Venmo in the description on YouTube. Let me go ahead and get the no taxation because we ain't going to keep it rolling too much longer. Like I said, we do have that space tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, 8:10 for those on YouTube. Check it out. We're going to be talking about the situation with the black girl that was had a nose broken at the school. We're going to also be talking about the rapper Big Boy. People trying to say Big Boy used a racial slur towards an Asian cashier at a gas station. So we're going to be discussing that tomorrow night as well, too. So no taxation. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Y'all gonna leave Big Boy alone. I know that much. I just wanted to say this because of what Muffet said. The first thing I want to say is that one thing we do agree on is that we do need black majority states. It didn't happen for us in the 60s after they assassinated King and we set everything on fire, but that was the 60s. It can happen now. That can happen now for sure. It just takes a move of people. And of course, they need to be employed when they get there because you can't live in this country with no money. It's a capitalist system. But having said that, I don't want people to get discouraged from being people who lobby. You don't have to get lobbyist paperwork done to lobby for yourself. Do it under advocacy. Here's what I believe, Muffet, and everybody in the room, and I've believed this since 2018. Okay, so this is not just a off-the-wall thought that I had this year. This is not something I haven't thought about for a long period of time. This is something that I've thought long and hard about over the years. I introduced it in 2018, but people weren't ready. Maybe they're going to be ready now. Who knows? Maybe we're just broke enough and pitiful enough and desperate enough where people will start paying attention to different forms of how you advocate for yourself and for your people. What if, and I think Rella and Black would be good for this, but I know they got a lot on them. What if somebody put up a website and said they were going to be called the FBA, Freedmen, Negro, all the rest of the different names that I can't remember, caucus. And all we ask is that if you agree with us on this and then have your position paper up there, then please sign up. Because what we're going to do is tell those people on Capitol Hill just how many votes they're going to lose in their own state. And gather the numbers, gather the data, make it very simple for yourself, and start it off like that. You don't need a lot of money to lobby. You really don't. We don't have to be a machine. All we have to do is have numbers. And I've been stressing that over the past year more than anything. And you did bring it up, Muffet. We have to have the numbers. If we don't have the numbers, what we going to do? That's number one. The other thing about it, Muffet, is that you have to stay in them white folks' faces every day and shake your fingers in their face. You have to. Because that's the only way things get done. Those people have lobbying organizations. Those organizations go up there. I pass by and they shake their fingers in their lawmakers' face. And that's what we have to get in the habit of doing. See, we're not in the habit of doing that because we've been bottle fed for a long period of time. And the bottle didn't have a lot of milk in it. And so we stayed hungry. And so now we're kicking down the door and saying, where's the cow? Because that's our piece of the pie. where the milk is coming from. It's not the bottle. We don't want the bottle anymore. We want the entire cow. And the only way we're going to get what it is we need to have in this country, and it could be anything past economics, do it about mass incarceration, qualified immunity, clean water, lead pipes. There's so many things that we need to be shaking our fingers in the faces of these lawmakers for, that we really don't have time to fuss fight and argue. We really don't. Because while we're fuss fighting and arguing and not working towards what we need to be working towards, children are being born and they're having high levels of lead poisoning in their body. Why is that? Because the lead pipes need to be replaced. And where are the lead pipes? Where poverty is, that's where the lead pipes are. The lead pipes are wherever black folks live. And so there are certain things that we definitely need to be doing, and we have to cover all the bases. We can't leave anything, no stone unturned at this point, because we are in a world of trouble. We don't see it yet, but we're going to start seeing it in 2024 because they've set us up for it. And the reason we can't plan 50 years out is because we have to react to every little thing that they give us. And they fire stuff at us on all sides. And so that keeps us busy so that we cannot fight the real fight. And that's part of the game. So if you had an organization, and it don't have to be on paper, it don't have to have none of that. You don't have to have that to advocate for yourself. You can advocate for yourself as a United States citizen in this country 24/7, 365. You don't need anybody to tell you that you can't advocate for yourself, because you can. You don't have to call it lobbying, call it advocacy. But we've got to do something. We have to do everything because we're in a world of trouble. And I do think that we're close, Muffin, because stuff is moving at the top. People are at the top are talking. See, when you get people introducing bills and all that kind of stuff, that's because they see something on the horizon, because guess what? They do plan 50 years out. And so we have to continue on and fight on. And the fight has got to look a little bit different in 2024. I'm telling y'all now, it has to look a little bit different. And it's going to be hard for them to see us because it's a mess out here politically. It's a mess out here politically. And then when you're talking about society, you see what they did to society. They flooded it with people that don't even speak English. So they can't even communicate. And that was on purpose. And Queen is right. They're all in on it. Now, Chicago, I sent it over there to you, News. Chicago is talking about they might see some of those people that came to this country to get a get a come up. They said in Chicago, some of those people are going to freeze on the streets. Let's see if somebody does. Because that's the fear here in New York. That's what Eric Adams is talking about. Quiet as it's kept. He's trying to tell everybody here he doesn't have any money and there is no room at the end. It's not even room for the people that are coming. And they say they get $2,000 a week here. So some get shipped out. They got a place in New York City right now. They opened up some building and put some people up in there. And they're processing those people and saying, do you want to leave? Not do you want to stay? They give them airline tickets on the spot to whatever country they want to go to or whatever state they want to go to, as long as they don't pick New York. So that's what's happening here. See, it exploded on them. What happened was it exploded. And that's why Trump put that stuff in place. He knew what was going on. And I'm not over here trying to tell anybody about Trump is the best thing since sliced bread. That's not what I'm saying, but facts are just facts. That's the reason he put a moratorium on anybody coming in the United States, because he knew how many people were on the horizon. And Biden let it go. Why? Because they said that we won't take these these little penny ante jobs for that penny ante money. And we American citizens, especially black, should not. We paid our dues. I wish they would ask me to come pick something or clean something or do something. I'm not doing none of that. Not me. I do enough of that in my house. So I just want to throw that out there, Muffet, and I still want to get invited to the meeting in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna leave it there.
All righty. All right. I think that's might do it for the for this space tonight, guys. Mike Legend. Did you want to say something real quick? I'll let you be the last speaker if you want to say something real quick.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we really need to all come together and blast these white folks. You understand me?
Okay.
We really need to step up to the plate, kill them, whatever we got to do.
All right. Let me go ahead and get you off of here because you sound like you some kind of op and you trying to go ahead and mess the space up.
And I don't advocate for anybody
No,
killing anybody.
nobody in this space advocates any violence. So let me just go ahead and say that's not what we do on this platform. And I don't know who Mike was or whatever coming up here saying this crazy stuff, but
Newstoter, we need to call him out. Mike is a white man.
yeah.
And see, white people, just like what's going on with Israel and Palestine, these people don't know nothing but murder. That's why he could get on stage and start that bullshit up in here. Excuse me, that stuff up in here. Because that's how they talk.
Well, not only that, he was trying to go ahead and get the space shut down as well, too. No.
Right. But we need to call it out. They are violent. He is a violent person. He's the one, they come up in our spaces trying to get the spaces shut down. They probably have it marked or watched and all that stuff. You got a whole bunch of other people from other groups in here and stuff listening to us. Why? Because they know what we're saying is right. And you still got people who will claim that they are patriots of this country. And them be the same ones selling secrets to people over across the world. They will be the spies that will be selling our secrets to other governments, but then come and try to attack us on our soil and claim that they are the patriots of our country. No, they are the threat of the country, and they're the reason. Again, I say it again. They're the reason why our country has not advanced. They're the reason why our country is always under a state of attack, because they are the ones who are committing the atrocities that we are seeing in high record numbers.
Real talk, Rella. Thank you. 400, I see you came up here. And Christopher, I'll let you guys go ahead and be the last two speakers for the night. Go ahead, 400. Did you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate all the spaces you hold. I appreciate everybody in the space. I try to sit back and listen and soak up the game, pick up knowledge. There's so much said, so much good stuff being said. I be at work a lot of times just listening, and I'm like in agreement with all of it. We as Black Americans, we take pride in this country. We hold the American flag up. We don't rock no other flag, so we take pride. So these other groups come in waving their flag, you know what I'm saying? And that, which is nothing wrong, but I always go on.
I'm no black poppy, I'm Dominican poppy.
You know what I'm saying? So when that dude to come in here and troll like that, we don't advocate killing nobody. We are peaceful people, you know what I'm saying? And that speak across the board. Whether you from New York, California, Florida, we wasn't taught to hate nobody. So I just appreciate all y'all, man. Let's keep our ancestors defeated them way back when, like the sister said. Let's feed off our ancestors, and we're gonna defeat them now. And we're not advocating no violence, no none of that. We just want our due justice, which is reparations. And I'll land right down.
Thank you, brother. And as always, I appreciate you supporting the platform. Like I said, I know you just chill for the most part, but you've always definitely showed a lot of love and support to the platform. So I just want to give you a shout out. And yeah, this dude just came in here like, we get some trolls here and now. We don't get as many trolls as we used to. And usually some of them will come in and play along or whatever. But his whole point was to go ahead and try to get the space shut down and stuff like that. He was going to run the Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it and talk about they was threatening people and all this other stuff. So Rella called it out. She called it out as well too, and I agree 100% with what she was saying. Nobody even talking about what you talking about, dude. So get on out of here with that. Christopher, did you want to say something real quick? I know you came up here as well.
Yeah, how's everybody doing this evening? Yeah, I just wanted to say that that's definitely white supremacist troll, no doubt. But anyway, what I wanted to make, I don't know. I'm sure you guys. I didn't know that Florida actually.
Can we get you, Chris? Can we get you? Are you on the headset? Because you a little bit seem like you're a little far away.
Hold on, I might be holding on. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you much better.
Okay, cool, wonderful. But yeah, I was just stating that just wanted to know, like, is there I get what the Florida senator introducing a bill to stop the reparations is the HR 4321 or 4321? Is that like a national bill, or are these bills like juxtaposition or in proximity with each other?
Now,
I just came into the space.
This bill, the Florida bill, this is just impacting the actual state of Florida here. From what he's saying, this is about the actual state of Florida. Now, I can't. The other one, I think that's out in Texas. I'm not entirely sure about, but the one we're discussing tonight, that's impacting the state of Florida.
Okay. So each state is like coming up with its own bill to actually stop it. Okay, I got you.
No problem, brother.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Appreciate you coming up. DJ, I know you had your hand up, so we'll go ahead and let you get ready to close it out for the night. And like I say, guys, check us out tomorrow night. Check us out. We're going to be talking about the young black girl and the hate crime that took place at the school and that whole situation, which is just crazy. We're also going to be talking about a boy from Outcast, Big Boy, and they're trying to make him into this this racist, throwing out racial slurs and stuff like that as well too. And you'll see the article. I'll touch up on it. It kind of paint trying to paint up a little story of rappers and some of this anti-hate. But I don't want to get too much into it because we'll share it tomorrow night. So DJ, go ahead. You got it.
Nah, I ain't got nothing much to say, brother. Sorry for being late, but I was there the whole time though. So shout out to the Newstoter family. I love y'all. Enjoy y'all night. And I guess to do Mikey. Don't ever come in here and saying that what we should or shouldn't do, because we'll beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. We'll all jump on you, cracking that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mikey, just like I say, Mikey's a troll, and Mikey wanted to come in here. And it's been a little minute, like I say, we used to get some trolls up in here, and every now and then they'll come up depending on the space title or whatever, but we don't really get that many trolls up in here. But
hey, just real quick, too, just to say this since we're having this conversation. So y'all already pretty much know that the black dude, or whatever he is, y'all call him Telegang, you know what I'm saying? That he got doxxed by security tribe or whatever the case be. I don't really care about that, but there is word that our folks are saying that he was threatening to shoot us if we do get our repent. So you need to make sure you keep your arm ready, keep your box gang ready. You know, I'm from Brick City, Hagler, Shakur, you know what I'm saying? Whoop, whoop, you know what I'm saying, son? You know what I mean? Rella, you ain't that sick. You spitting all these bars and boxing us up here. You know what I'm saying? You ain't that sick, girl, but feel better. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, stay ready, fam, because it ain't a game out here. You know what I'm saying? Jokers will try you at any given level. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of road rage, stupid stuff happening out here. This is why I try not to go out. This is why I stay in the studio and go out when I need to go out. Because usually when I go out, regardless, something about to happen, yo. It's about to go down. You know what I'm saying? This is why I keep my one good eye, 360, 12, 360 and 9. It's military time. Up, down, left, right. Better look on every which direction. Joker pulled out of the spot right here in front of my house, didn't look out to the left. Wound up causing a sister to crash her car, but bust a wheel all up, smack my car on the lever, scrape my junk to the rust meat. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? You got to give me some money for that. You know what I mean? But hey, that's what happens when you don't pay attention, man.
And this is my neighbor. I've known this little kid for a minute since he was a kid, just starting the driveway. Hey, man, just the consequences when nobody either tell you or you don't figure it out on your own. And with that being said, y'all either need to go to newstoter.com or fundedsocially.com. Because I ain't going to be over here when the new year starts. It's over with. That's these WPIs, man. I'm out.
All righty. So as always, we appreciate you. Thank everybody for coming out tonight, tweeting out the space. Y'all definitely start tweeting out the spaces more, so some of your actual listeners and followers, they can get a chance to check us out as well too. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on Twitter, 8:10 on YouTube. Everybody be safe. Have a good night. Thank you once again for supporting, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Peace.